Hello, everybody. My name is Justin, and welcome to the Talk Ish podcast. This is my younger sister, Heidi Talkish Whiting, and we're going to be continuing part two of a conversation that we were having with my lovely wife, Misty Talkish, of 18 years, on some of the dynamics of interracial marriage, interracial relationships. I believe the last place that we kind of left off was your family, and you know, we talked about your father being very close and just kind of, he's very non-offensive. I'll say that, right? And he accepted me seemingly like from the jump street, right? And some of your other family members I had a hard time connecting with, still having a difficult time connecting with that. I want to say that it hurts, but it doesn't in reality.
Did it at one point?
No, because I never really had expectations,
Okay.
unfortunately. Part of that is just my own trauma story.
Yeah, your own upbringing. And
where I don't let people in, right? And if you're hesitant, I definitely ain't letting you in, right? And so it wasn't like, they were really nice to me from the beginning and then said something where I had to put my guard back up. They were, pretty much already guarded from the jump street. And we talked about how your parents said, don't mess it up, which I'm super duper curious about because I'd never heard of that.
It was my dad that said it. And I think he might have been joking, but I think like they just knew I didn't have any like really like stable relationships before you, or relationships that were toxic. And they don't know all the details of all of them. They just know they ended. So, but I think it was more or less like a joke but anyway.
I remember prior to meeting you, I had and this is for Heidi because Heidi likes she likes to scoop.
The tea.
No.
Tea,
but I had sworn off white girls.
I thought you were going to mention that because I remember you
should.
did.
I was like, I'm good. Because my experience with white women up until that time was non-challenging. Like telling me what I want to hear all the time. And like, I like resistance. I like challenge. I like to feel another person in the room.
And you've already mentioned you're a tad masochistic.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Masochistic. You mean that I like punishment?
You like a little sting of pain.
Sure do. Absolutely. Who doesn't?
No, some people don't. Some people like to give it. You like to receive it.
That's right.
That sounded highly inappropriate. But
no,
okay.
But another podcast.
Ooh, how did I know that? It's a conversation.
But Misty, so I had kind of, but when I first met Misty, I was like, oh, she's a little different. And she had an opinion of her own, and she didn't mind saying it. And, she had her own, her own mind, I would say, which then was like, oh, okay, maybe. But I believe you had sworn off black gentlemen, haven't you?
We're going there. Yeah, actually, you were not the first black man that I had dated. And previous relationships did not end well. My first relationship that I had, period, ended in domestic violence. So And I don't think like that could happen in any relationship. But like I said, from my previous relationships, they were just like toxic. And some feedback that I had gotten from the other Black men that I had dated was I had too much attitude. Like,
amen to that. No.
Like they wanted me to be just this yes girl. They wanted me to be like anything you want to do, you know. And that's
like if I want attitude, I would stick with a Black woman or something
like
that.
I was told that.
Yeah.
You got the wrong one, baby.
But because you get that a lot, and that it's expectations.
Yeah,
the expectations that society puts on, like, they're like, oh well, you get a Black man, you're gonna get this. If you get a white woman, you're gonna get this, and it's just stuck in these very archaic, very misinformed, and unfortunately people shape their preferences around those ideas.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that about you, and I know I'm chiming in on y'all's
please, no, it's good.
I didn't know that about you, but what was it? Did you have something that drew you to Black men?
Oh,
and did you have something that drew you? So I just wanted. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Growing up, so we moved back and forth from like Oregon to Seattle, and just to kind of like go all the way. So being bullied and things as a kid, constantly being picked on, you find like people that are going through the same thing, and that for me just happened to be a very diverse crowd. And so like all my friends growing up were just very diverse. And so that was just something that I was just like drawn to. Also, I didn't feel like I had any like traditions or culture or anything like that, like growing up. And I sought after it. Like I looked for it in every place that I could. I wanted to be different. I don't know how that has to do with any of my like being a creative or part of my personality is like I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to stand out. I want something different. And so, but anyway, so just like growing up, my friend group was always diverse. My best friend in high school was the only Black girl in my high school, and so it was just what I knew. It was like, I didn't want basic. I grew up in a country town. I hate country music. Like that wasn't my thing. I've always been drawn like gospel music. Like that was always like was playing. My parents were like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
the first time I heard her listen to Hezekiah Walker, I was like, hold up.
Dang.
She had Hezekiah Walker. I was like, hold on, you got Jesus is my help, my help.
Yeah.
My help.
Yeah. I was so overshot to the Lord. I'm like, no, thank you. But I mean, it was I had a wide variety, a wide mix of different things, but that was this one place. The diversity is where I found love. Like for me and those friend groups, they accepted me just how I was. Yeah. They were protective over me. Somebody was fucking with me. It was on.
Yeah.
Like, and I just was like, I didn't know that. I had never experienced that in my life. And I was like, okay, somebody cares about me. Somebody's looking out for me, and I can be myself with them. And that's kind of, that's just where like I said, that's just where I've always found like to be my most authentic self.
Yeah.
And just because, I mean, I don't know like how else to put it. But there is literally no shame in who you are.
Yeah.
And like,
you felt safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
that's big. What about you, Justin?
So,
because I remember some of your girlfriends.
My girlfriends, I was never really hung up on race as much as I was hung up on body type. So,
say no more.
Misty already knows I have a type, and multiple times, my girlfriend was the bully of the school. My girlfriend could kick everybody in the school's ass. She was the tallest, the biggest. Everybody feared her. Probably since third grade. Peggy Crockett. What's up, Peggy? Um, but I was not looking for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, so it wasn't even necessarily white woman. I will say one thing about white women, and I'm gonna be transparent here, is I have a real hard time with rejection. And with black girls, you especially in Pittsburgh,
If you didn't come correct.
if you didn't come 100% correct, and you would not be let down easy.
Mm-mm.
You would be let down and embarrassed.
Yeah, laughed at.
So I was like,
We were not easy.
that scared me away. And so I was just pretty much a fuck boy, just quiet as kept, just somebody who really wasn't trying to be with anybody, just somebody who was, trying to have intercourse. And so, but talking with Misty, I remember it was the conversation that we were having in Portland one time, and she was being very honest with me about some of the things that she had experienced in her life, and I had never had anybody. To me, honesty's like the most important value to me.
Yeah.
Like if I can't trust you, ain't none of it gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so Misty, showed herself to be very trustworthy, by sharing parts of her, by being really vulnerable. And that actually made me feel comfortable because I'm an oversharer. Talkishes always tell people more than they want to know, or ask for. And so I felt comfortable immediately. I didn't feel judged by her. And let me tell you, she loved her some Justin.
Still does.
Still does.
I mean, listen, like, loved her some Justin, and I felt that. Because I was always, I'm going to just be hella honest right now. I was a simp. I was a simp.
I really didn't know that. I didn't experience that. You know that shit,
I would
right?
never display simp behavior.
I never knew that.
But internally, I was a simp.
Okay. I didn't know that, though.
But I wouldn't let you. I was too hard ass to let you know that you offended me. That's why I threw bricks at girls after they said they didn't want to go out with me. Back whenever I was a kid, because I was like, I didn't.
Rejection was.
Yeah. So I'm glad you didn't say no to me.
Did I dodge a couple bricks?
No. But
you threw bricks at girls?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I didn't connect on none of them, but.
Oh, damn. That's crazy though.
Harry, you're alive, but you're a horrible shot. But so yeah, I remember somebody asking me, it was one of our cousins from St. Louis. I was showing her a picture of Misty, and she was like, you couldn't find no black girl that you like? I said it wasn't even about that. Like, I really wasn't looking. And essentially I was a eunuch before I moved to the West Coast. I was a church boy, pastor boy, who was not having any sex. So I was a very sexually frustrated person. I was very judgmental of myself. I was a hot ass mess whenever I moved out to the West Coast. And Misty fucked with me at a very time where I felt unfuckwittable.
Damn.
Like, I mean, I came to church looking like Forrest Whitaker's stepson.
You weren't a mess to me, baby.
Oh my gosh, that was awful. But for somebody to vibe with me at that place. That was the thing. But but I like you asking us questions. Continue to ask us questions.
Yeah.
Now.
Absolutely. All right. So, okay. So now that we have established why you guys love each other and how you guys picked each other and all of this stuff, let's now talk about how you are today and where you are, especially post COVID, post George Floyd, post all of that. How did that type of stuff, how did those movements shift your perspective on one another, on one another's experiences, and how did that impact your relationship in general?
Well, I'll start. The whole thing around George Floyd, it actually for me it started before that. It started with Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, right? That's when I was freshly in graduate school, taking my multicultural class that is now bringing all these things up to the surface for me that's already in the news. And so I started doing my own work on my own racial identity, and I realized I was a token my whole life. My whole life.
Explain that. And what behaviors did you say that you exhibited?
Well, if we want to put up the picture
your
of
normal Bob,
we'll put that picture up, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing threatening about normal Bob.
We had to put
he made everybody feel safe, and white folks felt very safe around me. They felt safe enough to make racist jokes around me. They felt safe enough to say really wild shit to me. A lot of that started with Dad. Yeah. Because I, as the oldest, I had to adhere to his beliefs and how he saw the world. And he, our father, despite marrying a very dark-skinned woman, is extremely racist. Very racist. And he had these very racist views about black people that if I didn't agree with him, I was beaten. Yeah.
Didn't one time he make you say that all black men are dogs or something like that?
Yeah, sure did. And beat me until I said it. So got off to a good start being a token through our father, right?
Naturally, right?
And so I was like, I was just tired of being a token, and I just started speaking my truth. Started talking. That's right around the time when I started growing my hair out for locks. I used to keep my hair very low because I was very ashamed of my thick black nappy hair.
Coarse hair, yeah.
Right. I always wanted, the light skin biracial hair, but I never had that. And so what that did is I felt like I was being tokenized in my home in some sense, and with my in-laws, where I wasn't really letting people know, yo, I didn't like the fuck what you just said. What? Why like when somebody jokes around Mexicans around me, I know as soon as I leave the room they talking about me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like when a white person makes a Mexican joke around me, it's as if they're saying a black joke, because I know that they don't see me as better than that. They see us all kind of on that same level, and so that was for me just me gaining my self-respect, which initially was a lot of conflict.
Yeah,
because I came out very vehemently. I swung to the other end of the pendulum for a while.
Kind of guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
It was something that I needed, and I will say to Misty's credit, she, and I'll let her talk about it. She has done her work, and she is doing her work. I think that is the reason why our marriage has been able to last as long as it has, is Misty has you know. And I'm
Do you
so
feel like it's
glad.
gotten stronger through this time, through the past couple of years?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It had to go through a time of almost coming apart,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, because at one point in time in our marriage, anytime she would cry or get upset in the context of our marriage, I would get infuriated
Mm-hmm.
because like white woman tears
Yeah.
scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Mm.
They scare me, and it didn't end with my home.
Yeah.
You know, Misty's tears scared me. I'm
Mm.
like, oh shit, what if her dad heard? You know, what
Mm-hmm.
if somebody in her family or somebody on the street sees her crying? Some,
Yeah.
you know, some black dude, right? Like, am I putting myself at risk?
Yeah.
And so, and so, yeah, it hit our
Mm-hmm.
it hit our home. There were people who she was friends with during this time who were kind of clearly on the other side, white folks who were kind of clearly on the other side of the hands up, don't shoot stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Misty was still vibing with them, even though they
were
kind
making
of
you feel unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
they rebuked me, and I'm like, oh, you must be angry black man, leave us alone. And like Misty hadn't said anything to them.
Yeah.
I was like, why is she like? Does she agree with them, right? And so Misty had to choose a lot of discomfort. She's alienated herself from a lot of her white friends, her white family, because of the work that she's been willing to do.
Okay, and I wanted to actually talk to you. Okay, so I wanted to hear your experience with that, and I also wanted to ask, did you know? Were you even aware? Did you have any like that? He felt like a token.
I would say for the longest time in our marriage, I didn't know that. And I had no idea what code switching was. And
big one.
That Justin has literally been doing it for the majority of the first half of our marriage.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, we're good. We're a cute little mixed couple, you know? And I was so naive to it. And like what he was talking about, of like taking a long time to say something. We had moved from Bend to Seattle, and the people who we had considered like a family there, like, are the ones that rejected Justin because he was angry. They didn't know how to sit with that themselves, but still like didn't know how to even identify their own racism. And I didn't know that at the time either. And so I'm in my family, I'm the peacekeeper. And so that's what I was trying to do. I'm like, no. And I would like have conversations. I'm like, no, I'm like, and essentially kind of speaking for Justin in a sense. And then I was like, Justin and I would have conversations, and I knew, Misty, no. And it started when he started in grad school, and we're having a conversation, and he was mentioned, I think you were taking you started to dig into your own identity. I don't remember what the class was called, but we were talking
cultural class.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I don't remember what Justin said, but I remember my response, and I said, "I'm not racist." Like, that was my defensive comeback. I remember that to this day, and where I was and what I was doing.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and that started it all. And I was extremely defensive at first because I kind of looked at it as my, I had black friends growing up. I had a very diverse, like, I'm in the know. No. Yeah. I really wasn't, and I really didn't know. And it wasn't until like really started digging and being more curious, that was something that was like, I've always been handed what I should know, what I should do, what I should say, and curiosity wasn't a part of my upbringing. Passive
education on it. Yeah.
Everything passive. Yeah. And so I just started getting really curious, and what I found was extremely uncomfortable. And there was so many days that I wanted to run and hide, because I started picking up books, and my privilege allowed me to set down those books and take a break from it.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was getting too much for me. And I had to recognize that was a privilege in and of itself, that I could actually just set it down and be like, oh, I'm cool with this for right now. Yeah. But like Justin said, that discomfort, we became besties. I had to, as uncomfortable it was. I even went into like a pretty deep depression too, because I didn't know, like, it was part of my identity.
It's literally like you've like the Matrix, like, you know, they go, you know, you go, it's the blinders are pulled from your eyes, and
absolutely. And I'm like, and I'm still in a place where, like, I can't remove myself from it. My skin is white. I don't, you know, I experienced that privilege that comes with that. And so acknowledging that I'm not removed from it, and still just being able to be curious, to have those hard conversations. Oh my God. The hard conversations that Justin and I have had in regards to that. Like, there are a lot of days I can't hold these things with him because I'm a white woman. I do not know what he's experiencing. I do not know what he's feeling. I can sit next to him. I can hold him.
Yep.
I cannot hold those experiences. Yeah. And that in and of itself was so hard. I mean, I think that's the epitome of, like, having a partner, you know, to be being married or whatever, having somebody right next, like, there's that sense of intimacy that I felt that, you know, should be there. There's still, I mean, even to this day, there's no way that can happen. So how are we filling that gap? How are we, like, and having those conversations? And I appreciate that Justin was authentic and, like, not backing down. He's like, no. Because I'm in my feels. I can, like, get emotional, and a lot of that also has to do with some of my own trauma and things like that. But I had to really set my little white fragility aside and really listen to what he was saying. I mean, some of the stuff, I don't know if you, I mean, just for the set of, like, keeping it real, there were just, as Justin is in his own process, I had to know that this is his process, and it's not going to make me comfortable. At first I was like, I need to feel okay while you're, And so he allowed me into that space. Even, like, for me, that even created a closer sense of like, just intimacy. That he was able to say to me, and I remember this, one of the hardest things I've ever heard my husband say was, it still, like, makes me emotional, because at the time I didn't understand it, but now I absolutely do. He said, I am proud to be married to you, but I am not proud to be married to a white woman. And I was just like, oh, okay.
How did that feel?
Oh, you know, of course, at first I was just like, yeah, I was trying to just, like, be present and, like, listen to him. And it was hard. It hurt. But again, if I would not have chosen, like, that discomfort, and I would have ran. And so from my previous choices of choosing discomfort, I sat with it. And I'm like, I know my husband loves me. I know my husband loves me. I know my husband loves me. But just sitting with that, it made me curious about where he was at and what he was experiencing. And again, going back to, like, there's just things I can't hold with him. And that is what I associate that with too. Like, I can't imagine the things that my husband experiences on a day-to-day basis not being able to come home and be like, you know, having somebody fully understand what that's like.
Wow, that I mean, this is huge. And I'll say, from the outside looking in, you know, as a sister and sister-in-law, my perspective, I will say that I have noticed both of y'all's evolution. We were calling you Token way before you were calling yourself one.
I mean, I'm not laughing. But,
So we was talking, we was talking shit for a long time, and with you, Misty, to me, I've always loved you.
I appreciate that.
But I have noticed your evolution as well. I've noticed both of y'all. Y'all have, and that's the thing is like it wasn't just one person growing. It was both of y'all. And I will tell you that I have to give you your props, Misty, because I mean, like I said, I've known you for 21 years now. No,
Holy God.
21 years because
God, yeah.
Yeah, because because y'all 20 years. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19 or something like that. Yeah, 19, sorry. Lied. But yeah, not 21. All right, but the reason why I say that is I've seen y'all deconstruct Christianity. I've seen y'all go through all of this, and you went through it together. And I don't want to dismiss your pain and to dismiss what you have gone through and the journey that you've gone through. And I'm so glad that you're here today speaking on it, because I feel like somebody out there is going to be able to listen to that and fight through that discomfort, because there is joy at the other end of that. There's transformation. There's all of that stuff. I think about like I could truly be my authentic self with you. I don't feel like I have to tiptoe. We have full conversations, and you are in there. You're not only just in there, I don't have to tiptoe around your feelings. I don't have to tiptoe around your ignorance, and you're half the time you're more informed than me. So I really truly love that about you, and I'm telling you, if there is any I don't think that God could have picked a better mate for my brother. And I just wanted to tell you that before we closed, because I have noticed both of y'all's evolution, and I'm so proud of y'all. And you've done the work, and you're still, like you said, and you're still doing it. That's the thing, is it never stops.
Never.
And it never stops with us. We're still unpacking. So I really, really appreciate you being in my life, and obviously you, Justin, but I really wanted to kind of give you your flowers while you're here. I mean, because it's just like honestly you're the blueprint of really what it looks like. It could be a successful union, but it requires work on both
and
parts.
I want to say too, like,
and we're going to close after what you say.
Like, be under no disillusionment. Like, that is, I think we have gotten to where we have gotten is not avoiding conflict by embracing it.
Yeah.
Conflict.
That's against everything I knew too.
Conflict. Is intimacy.
Yep.
Conflict, if done right, you're seeing something vulnerable in the other person that they're showing you, and instead of exploiting it and attacking it, you're empathizing it. You're empathizing, but we can't really do the empathizing with others until we can be okay with us. And I tell you, it hasn't been, I mean, the anti-racist work that you've done, has been good. I would say though, the monumental shift in our marriage is just when you begin to love you more.
Yeah.
That's big.
And when you begin to love yourself more.
And you can see it all over you.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, Eddie.
It freed me up to be me. Right. And I could be me unapologetically.
Absolutely.
And you can be you.
And I couldn't love you the way I needed to until that happened. Like, there was so much that unintentionally withholding, because I didn't know my worth. That was part of it too. But I needed to love myself to be able to love the way I needed to. Yeah.
That's big. Oh my goodness, I have chills. Thank you guys so much for sharing
Heidi.
your story, and this, y'all are a true testament of love, a true testament of endurance, a true testament of just sticking it out through the thick and the thin, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty,
Stop
for better or worse.
Yeah.
Y'all been through it, through the mud. Hallelujah,
Peace.
hallelujah. Praise his name.
Can't.
But we thank you all for coming and
Thank
joining
you.
us today. Until next time, we'll see y'all.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.